Hello everyone, in this video we will solve some multiple choice questions based on the two topics. First, fundamentals of engineering drawing, and second, rules of dimensioning. So let's get started. And here we have our first question. Which is the largest size of a sheet among the following sizes? And the options are A0, A1, A2 and A3. Here we have a sheet of a size 1189 by 841 mm, which is designated as A0 by the Bureau of Indian Standard. If we divide this sheet into two halves, then we get two A1 sheets. And if we divide this sheet into two halves, then we get two A2 sheets. If we divide this sheet again into two halves, then we get two A3 sheets. And by cutting A3 sheet into two halves, we get, yes, two A4 sheets. So dear friends, here A0 is the largest sheet and A4 is smallest. And hence, correct option for this question is A0. Let's see the next question. What is the aspect ratio of A series paper? And here are the options. So basically, the aspect ratio is a ratio of width to length. And here we have the sizes of A series sheets from A0 to A4. Let's try to find out the aspect ratio of A0 sheet. So if we divide length dimension by its width dimension, then we get a result which is 1.4142 and it is the value of root 2. So width to length ratio becomes 1:to root 2. If we do this with remaining paper sizes, we will have the same results. So the aspect ratio of A series paper is 1:to root 2. And hence the correct option for this question is C. Alright, let's look at the next question. What is the size of A3 paper? And these are the options. Here we have a table of A series paper sizes, and A3 paper has a size of 420 by 297 mm. So the correct option for this question is B. Let's move on to the next. What is the scale used if the length of a line in a drawing is 12 mm and actual length of a line is 6 meter? And these are the options. Dear friends, sometimes the actual length of an object is so large so that its actual dimension cannot fit in a paper. In such cases, we prepare a drawing of an object by reducing its scale. So this question is about the same, that is scale reduction. Scale is also called as representative fraction. So scale or representative fraction is a ratio of dimension in a drawing upon actual dimension. In the question, actual dimension of a line is 6 meter and the length of a line in a drawing is 12 mm. In order to calculate scale, we first need to bring numerator and denominator values with same units. Let's convert 6 meter into mm, which is 6000 mm. So 12 divided by 6000 is 1/500. And hence the scale used in a drawing is 1:500, which is in the option D. Dear friends, so here you have to remember one thing, and that is 1:2, 1:3, 1:4, 1:500, etc. depicts reducing scale. On the other hand, 2:1, 3:1, 4:1 depicts enlarging scale. Alright, let's move on to the next question. The representative fraction is 0.5. The drawing length is 20 cm. Find the actual length. So, representative fraction is a ratio of dimension in a drawing upon actual dimension, and the representative fraction given here is 0.5 and dimension in a drawing is 20. So by solving this, we can calculate actual dimension, which is 40. So the correct option is B. Now let's have a next question. Which of the following representative fraction depicts an enlarging scale? And options are 1:2.2, 1:2, 1:1 and 1:3. In previous question related to scale, we have seen that 1:2, 1:3, etc. depicts reducing scale. So option B and D are incorrect. And obviously option C 1:1 is also incorrect. So the correct option is A, that is 1:2.2, which we can also write it as 10:2. Next question. Which is the relatively hard grade of a pencil from the following? And options are H, 2H, 3H and 4H. In this picture, we can see that at the left hand we have a hard grade and to the right we have a soft grade, meaning that the grades of a pencil are changing from hard to soft, from left to right. In other words, the hardness is decreasing from left to right. So from this picture, we can conclude that the 4H is the hardest grade in comparison with H, 2H and 3H. So the correct option is D, 4H. Next question. The grade becomes dash dash according to the number figure is placed in front of the letter B, 2B, 3B, 4B, etc. And here are the options. Once again, let's have a look at the previous picture. And from this, we can see that from B, 2B, 3B and so on, the grade becomes softer. However, the shade also becomes darker. But the grades are defined by the hardness and softness, not the lightness and darkness. So, the correct option is in D, that is softer. Moving on to the next question. Continuous thick lines are used to show the visible edges of an object. And here we have the two options only. And the correct option is A, that is true. Look at this picture showing orthographic views of an object. If we just take a look at the front view, then here we have shown all the visible edges with continuous thick line and the invisible edges with dash thick line. So, the continuous thick lines are always used to show the visible edges of an object. Remember that. Next question is, type of line shown in figure is used to, and here are the options. And the correct option is B, to show symmetry. For an example, in this figure, the object seems symmetrical about the vertical line. So, the line about which the object is symmetrical, that line is represented with chain thin line pattern. Let's see the next question. Following type of line is used to show, and options are, this type of line is called as dash thick line, and this is also known as hidden line. So in the name of a line, its purpose is mentioned, and that is to show the hidden edges. So the correct answer is option C, hidden edges. For an example, in this figure, front view, top view and side view of an object are shown. If we look at this 3D object from side, this rectangular slot is invisible. So, This slot is represented here by dash thick line. Let's look at the next question. Following type of line is used to show, and here are the options. This type of line is called as chain thin line thick at ends, and this is also known as cutting plane line. So here also, in the name of a line, its purpose is mentioned, and that is to show cutting plane. So the correct answer is option A, cutting plane. For an example, in this figure, line AA represented by chain thin line thick at ends indicates that the cutting plane is passing through the line of symmetry, which will divide the object into exact two halves. And after that, observer has to look at the cut portion from this direction. Let's look at the next. Continuous thin line shown in below picture is used to show, and the options are dimension line, leader line, extension line, and all of them. Here, correct option is D, all of them. Let's have a look in this figure with dimensions provided. While giving dimensions, we use dimension lines, extension lines, and sometimes leader line. And while showing these lines, we must keep the thickness of all these lines smaller than the outline of an object. So, dimension line, leader line, extension line, all are drawn by using continuous thin line pattern. Alright, let's look at the next question. Identify the type of a line shown in following picture by D1. Here are the options. This is very intuitive. We can see that the line indicated by D1 are drawn with a gap. This is a kind of a break within the view of an object. So, the correct answer is option C, that is break line. Let's see the next question. Identify the type of line shown in following picture by G2. We have already seen this type of pattern in one of our previous questions, which is called as chain thin line, which is used for showing symmetry. So the correct answer is option D, chain thin line. Moving on to the next question. Among the following, which representation is wrong? And here we have our options. Before I tell you the correct option, let's look at this. In this figure, a cube is having a square hole of a limited depth at the top. But as this hole is invisible from side, while making an orthographic views, we have to use hidden lines to show it. And here I have shown it two side views with a hole. But there is a mistake in one of the views in the representation of a hidden line. If we take a closer look at this region, we can see there is a gap where two hidden lines are meeting each other. There should not be a gap, they should be connected, like in this another view, which is perfect. So now we can choose the correct option for this question. So the correct option is D. Next question. Arrowheads used for dimension should have length to height proportion of, and these are the options. As per the rule, an arrowhead must have a length to height proportion of 3:1. Means length is 3 times larger than height, as shown in this figure. So correct option is D, 3:1. Next question. Which is the wrong statement regarding dimensions? And here we have our statements. First, every dimension must be given, but none should be given more than once. And this statement is correct. Let's read the second statement. Every dimension should be written to the left side of the drawing. Actually, this is not necessary. In a drawing, we can give dimensions to any side of a drawing. So this statement is incorrect or wrong. Let's see third. Dimensions should be placed outside the views. Yes, this is correct. And fourth is, a center line should not be used as a dimension line. Yes, this is also correct statement. Do not use center line as a dimension line. So here only one statement is wrong, which is second statement. And hence the correct option is C. Alright, let's move on to the next question. In aligned dimension system, the dimensions are: first, placed parallel to the dimension line. Second, place right side of the dimension line. Third, place perpendicular to the dimension line. And fourth, place left side of the dimension line. And here only third statement is correct. That is, place perpendicular to the dimension line. And so the correct option is B. Let's see what is aligned dimension system is. Here we have two figures with dimensions in which the figure to the left is correct and the one to the right is incorrect. If we look at this 58 dimension, here the orientation of 58 is vertical, meaning that it is perpendicular to the dimension line. And in the second figure, the orientation of a dimension 58 is parallel, which is incorrect. Also, look at this dimension 20. In the left figure, it is perpendicular to the dimensional line, and in the right figure, it is parallel to the dimensional line, which is incorrect. So dear friends, remember that in aligned dimension system, dimension is always perpendicular to the dimension line and should appear as above the dimension line when looked from the front or from the right side of the drawing. Great. Now the next question is, which of the following dimension is incorrect? And here are our options: 20, 30, 28 and 34. And the correct option is B. Means the way this dimension 30 is given is not right. It is incorrect. And what's wrong in it? Remember, as per the rule of dimensioning, as far as possible, do not use object's outline as an extension line. So, draw a separate extension line to give this dimension 30. And let's see the correct way of giving it. And here it is. Alright, let's take the next question. It is recommended that a gap of about 2 mm should be kept between the extension line and an outline. And the answer is false. Because actually a gap of about 1 mm only should be kept between the extension line and an outline. It's not 2 mm, it's 1 mm. Let's see in this figure. This gap I'm talking about, the gap between the extension line and an outline. Let's look at the next question. Dimension lines should be drawn at least dash dash mm away from the outlines and from each other. Our options are 5, 10, 8 and 12 mm. And the correct option is C, that is 8 mm. So, always make sure while you place a dimension line, it should be at least 8 mm away from the outline, like here, and from each other, like here. Next question is, in which of the following type of dimensioning the dimensions are arranged only in a straight line? Here are the options. There are two ways of giving dimensions to the straight line. One, chain dimensioning, and another is parallel dimensioning. Here we can see in chain dimensioning, the adjacent dimensions are arranged in a straight line. And in another figure, the dimensions are given parallel to each other. So for this question, correct option is A, chain dimensioning. Next question. The type of dimensioning system used in the following figure is, and here are the options. Option A, unidirectional and parallel dimension. Option B, align and chain dimension. Option C, unidirectional and chain dimension. And option D is align and parallel dimension. To answer this question, we must know what is unidirectional and aligned dimension system are. And we have just seen that what is the chain and parallel dimensioning is. Look at these views with dimensions. In this view, dimensions are aligned with the dimension line. Means, if dimension line is inclined, then dimension also placed above the dimension line in inclined manner. Actually, in aligned dimension system, dimension is always perpendicular to the dimension line, and it should appear as above the dimension line when we look from front or from right side of the drawing. While in unidirectional dimension system, like in this figure, dimension is placed at the center of a dimension line in a gap, and it is always placed in an upright manner no matter what is the orientation of a dimension line. Means all dimension can be easily read only from front. So by knowing all this, now we can choose the correct option. In this figure, aligned dimension system is used, as all dimensions are aligned with the dimension line. And also, these 30 and 20 dimensions are given in a straight line like a chain. So here, the correct option is B, align and chain. Let's move on to the next question. The type of dimension system used in the following figure is, and here are the options. Option A, unidirectional and parallel dimension. Option B, align and chain dimension. Option C, unidirectional and chain dimension. And option D is align and parallel dimension. In this figure, aligned dimension system is used, and also these 10 and 37 dimensions are given in parallel fashion. So here the correct option is D, align and parallel. Let's look at the next question. The type of dimensioning system used in the following figure is, and here we have the same options of previous question. In this figure, unidirectional dimension system is used, and also these 10 and 27 dimensions are given in chain fashion. So here the correct option is C, unidirectional and chain. Next question. Which of the following dimension is correct? Let's have a look at each figure one by one. In first figure, this dimension 20 is incorrect. Here, outline is used as a dimension line, which is incorrect. In second figure, this dimension 40 is incorrect, as it is inside the view. As far as possible, we always have to give a dimension outside the view. In third figure, everything seems to be correct, so this must be the answer. However, let's see what's the wrong in fourth figure. Here, this vertical dimension 40 is placed below the dimension line, which must be above the dimension line as per the rule. So, the correct option is C. Alright, now next question is, which of the following dimension is correct? Let's have a look at each figure one by one. Here, two views are given, say front view and top view. In first figure, this dimension 520 is incorrect as it is inside the view. In second figure, everything seems to be correct, so this must be an answer. However, let's see what's wrong with another figures. In third figure, This dimension 520 is given to the hidden lines, which is incorrect because the rule is, as far as possible, do not draw extension lines from hidden line, meaning that do not give dimension to the hidden feature. Remember this. And in fourth figure, again, this dimension 520 is incorrect because the way in which this dimension is given, it's not right. The correct way is shown in the second figure. So for this question, the correct option is B. Let's see the next question. Which of the following dimension is incorrect? Here are our two options. And here the correct option is B. Means in second figure, dimensions are given incorrectly. Let's say it. Here, when we see these two dimensions which are 30 and 50, here extension line and dimension line is crossing each other. And this is incorrect. To avoid this, we should give smaller dimension 30 first and larger dimension 50 later, that is below 30. Now, next question is, which of the following is the correct way to give a dimension to the circle of a diameter 10 mm? Here are the options, and correct option is D, 5, 10. Remember, dimension should follow the symbol. That is, 5 is a symbol and 10 is a dimension. So it should be 5, 10. And do not give units while giving dimensions like mm. Only give a dimension, that is digit. And while giving dimension to the circle, use 5. Don't just write 10 because you are representing a dimension to a circle, and we always use a symbol 5 to show the dimension to the circle. Alright? Now the next question is, in which system of dimensioning the figures can be read from the bottom as well as the right hand side of the drawing? We have already seen it. So you can guess the correct answer. Yes, right. It's align system. That is option B. Great. So this was our last question for today's video. Dear friends, I hope you have enjoyed this video. Now it's time to signing off. We'll see you in the next video with some more MCQs on another topic.